Welcome back to close to the end of the first day of Streaming Media West 2019. I'm Tim Siglin, contributing editor of Streaming Media Magazine and the founding executive director of the not-for-profit Help Me Stream. And today I've got George with me, who's one of the founders of Tulix. George, for those in the audience who may not know, what is Tulix?
Tulix is a complete software streaming solution company out of Atlanta, Georgia. We've been in business for many years. Many years, I'm talking about 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And our foundation is knowledge of the internet. We were actually one of the pioneers of internet many years ago. And it's what we decided to do about 10 years ago is to focus on streaming.
Okay.
Streaming services. And our background and knowledge and experience of the internet gives us a huge advantage in building solutions which are robust, which are cost effective, and which are user friendly. So if we can say about so-called .com, you probably remember .com era where companies were jumping into the internet. Mm-hmm. We are coming from that era, and we are one of the survivors who actually at this point utilizing all our experience and all our knowledge, infrastructures that we build. People are staying with us for 20 years or more. And this is how we're actually managing our company. And one of the features maybe or something to mention is we have 20 plus year old history. We have some customers who are staying with us for more than 15 years. And probably there is a reason why.
And when you say an end-to-end solution, that includes encoding, transcoding, content delivery, player support?
Absolutely. We have a very interesting approach, and I don't know about any other company, probably they do exist, but we have a very interesting approach. Like we have a so-called default setup. Default setup, we're using a number of third-party products which are very cost-effective and have sufficient quality to satisfy probably 80% of customers. Now, there's some cases where we have very specific requirements. And in those cases, we'll be happy or we're happily upgrading any components, would be it encoding, would be CDN, would be any other parts of the complete OTT solution, will be ingest. We're upgrading with any solutions which are best on the market. And we're talking about scaling from the smallest and the most inexpensive solutions to the most expensive and the best solutions available in the market. Whatever feeds the customer.
So one of the things I know you and I have talked about in the past is how important latency is, and it seems like the industry is finally, after going through a number of years of let's scale by things like fragments and chunking, which inherently adds latency to the delivery, are now really concerned in the opposite direction, that we don't have low latency streaming. You've been around for 20 years, as you say. What is the push for latency something new, or is it something that we painted ourselves in the corner with fragmented solutions and we're trying to figure out how to get out of that corner and back to lower latency delivery?
It's interesting, but it's actually a very big question or subject to talk about. The interesting part that before chunked video solutions like HLS, Dash, CMF, and all the stuff, there were like so-called RTMP, RTSP, or actually M-Bone when you're talking about multicast over the internet solution, where we're talking about almost no latency or so insignificant latencies that no one was talking about. Now, because of the convenience of CDNs, because of some specific hardware products like Apple, for example, the being one of them, there was so-called HTTP or chunk-based protocol was pushed, and convenience is great. Actually, Cost savings are great for CDNs, which obviously is transferred to the customers, but then suddenly the problem with the latency showed up, and it's a true problem. It's a true problem because not only latency from the point of view compared to the original stream, but it's also a problem that you have several devices in the same room and all the stuff are playing different.
No synchronization.
Yeah, no synchronization. And imagine if it's even on an engineering side or monitoring side, it could create difficulties. So there are definitely multiple solutions. For us, actually, we're in a very good position because with the infrastructure that we have, with optimized routing out of just a couple of bigger nodes that we have, we can push any protocol. And this any protocol, it could be anything actually, including forward error correction protocol between us and client or players. Okay. We can do that too. And obviously WebRTC, for us it took a half a day to implement WebRTC as a demo for one of the shows.
Sure.
But on the other hand, we have obviously partners, and partners are pushing us to get a low latency solution. But my response was, let's wait for the biggest guys. Those biggest guys will come up with a solution, and that solution probably will become a standard. Now, no one knows that for sure, but I think one of the recent activities were done by Apple. They came up with low latency, HTTP or HLS, not protocol, but solution.
Right,
and I think that could be a good chance that it could be a good solution. And if not that, something else, in my opinion, will show up, which will be pushed by big players. That way we'll not have to have all the small solutions like we have in our company, maybe 5 different solutions, protocols, and all of them are proprietary. You can name, but but it's really 5 different solutions. I'd rather to wait until the mainstream will show up and fully support it.
And you mentioned WebRTC, of course, just like RTMP, WebRTC has a scaling issue without using something like a content delivery network. So where's the balance between very low latencies like WebRTC and very scalable solutions like HLS and Dash? Do you sense there's a middle ground between those things, or will the push be to get closer and closer to WebRTC latencies rather than the multiple second delays we've had with the chunking solutions?
In my opinion, WebRTC has bigger problems, just in my opinion, than just scalability. Due to the nature of our activities, we're dealing with a lot of different platforms.
Okay.
Starting from smart TVs and going through all this Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and almost any device which is capable of playing.
Sure.
And in many cases we have conditional access. In many cases we have digital right management, and it's easy to come up with a almost lab-based solution where you get a stream on one device or just couple devices in kind of clean room environment. But once you go in a full production mode, then you have to support like even, Hollywood studios stuff. Sure. I can't imagine WebRTC at this point being sufficient or utilized for any solution.
Or for major live sporting events where piracy is a big concern and authentication is a big concern.
Absolutely, yes. So to answer a little bit closer to the response, that I think it will be or chunk-based protocols which will be modified or it will be tuned, not just by decreasing the size of the chunk, but whatever technology will come up, the vendors to make it as close as possible to real time, or potentially it could be a completely new protocol, but it will be, in my opinion, much more painful to implement it because of a variety of devices.
Sure.
And again, you can make anything you want. Like I said, I have maybe 5 different protocols which do, and actually one of them is done by company in Atlanta where we're operating. They have their solution which being used for one of the largest auction houses in the world.
Okay.
But again, it's just one solution. Going mainstream with a solution, it's
Sure.
in my opinion, it's a different story.
All right, George, thank you as always for your time, and we'll be right back probably with one more interview before the end of the day.
Thank you very much.